We got out of the lab. We're back. We're here. We're with regular Magical here on the LCS Academy stream powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel, joined by Cubby and Magical yet again. Loved the new episode of In the Lab, by the way, Magical. Welcome back to the new summer season, the new content season. But here, between the series, between this match of the day that has delivered so far in the first half, we got to have a little bit of fun with it. We got to have a little game I like to call Who's That Academy Player? Yeah! It's going to be fun. So what the premise is here is I'm going to have picked a couple players here. We'll work through them one at a time. And I have some trivia about these players. I'm going to not tell you who the player is at the beginning of it. I'm going to start stating off some of these trivia facts. If you have any input, if you have anything you want to say about those trivia facts, or you're calling an emergency meeting to talk about something, you absolutely can. If you do have a guess, maybe we can wait till the end of the trivia facts to get that guess in. Unless you just absolutely have to get it in, then slam that.
My guess is insanity.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. So
tried.
We're gonna start off with our first player. So start off with some trivia facts. Got 6 per player here. Yes, and maybe this is a shocker. Had time on LCS, in LCS. So on an LCS.
So I'm already my guess is already looking more and more likely.
Is it? Also,
yeah, because Insanity's played in LCS.
Yeah. Just keep going. All right.
We're down
also
to 3 already.
Yeah. Believes that sleep is OP. Felt that he played much better after getting 10 hours of sleep a night.
10?
Last split. Yeah.
Good
10.
for
That's
them.
A lot. That's
Oh
a lot.
my
Yeah.
god.
I know, right?
I wish I could get 10 hours sleep.
Oh my god.
One of their favorite activities, or at least active activities, is playing ping pong, but as well as liking to watch ping pong. We got a lot of ping pong
So
players
Tomo.
in Academy here. Now, one of his favorite shows is South Park. I think that's a pretty good one. I would say to have. Original competitive team was named Valorous. I'm not going to tell you where.
Yeah, that's okay.
And
I
also known for his Lee Sin mechanics. Those are the 6 trivia facts that we have. Now I'll go ahead and get your guys' guesses on who this Academy player, this wonder person, could be.
Well, I do have a question. Does this have to be a player from our series today, or just in the league in general?
Doesn't have to be.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna guess it's from the series today, and I'm gonna guess XU. Even though
XU.
I feel like Valorous is something that Takeover would have.
Right.
Okay.
That's like I'm trying to.
So I don't think that was XU's first team, but I'm gonna stick with XU just because of Luis.
Magical, what do you got?
I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going to Insanity. I said it at the beginning.
Just stick with it from the beginning.
Stick with it.
Known for these
well,
sit.
Let's go ahead and get the drum roll rolling, please, because our mystery person, our TSM Academy mid laner, Takeover, as our Who's That Academy player number 1. First team was Valorous.
Yeah.
In Latin America.
That's closer than Cubby. I'll take it.
The Wii Sin thing kind of threw me off.
Yeah, that's what kept me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kelsey, if you're watching this, we got him. That was the plan.
I said Insanity from the beginning, and I wasn't going to change my answer regardless of what you said.
No matter what.
Yeah.
You're sticking with it.
Yeah.
Hey, mad is always mad.
Always.
So there is our first highlight of Takeover for TSM Academy. Love to see it. Love to hear a little bit more about it. Ping pong player to boot. The OP sleep. I hope one day. That is my goal. That is my season focus, is trying to get hours of sleep.
That's not going to be possible. I'm just telling you right now.
Possible. We're going to move on to our second player of the day. This is another Academy player. Again, I have 6 trivia facts. Go ahead and go through them all.
Yuji.
Guesses in. You're just going to go ahead and start it every time?
Yeah.
So, praised for his sense of humor by his teammates. This player is Canadian. All right, so that winds things down just a little bit, a little tiny bit. His Ash was the champion most talked about by coaches at his scouting grounds run in 2020. I know that brings it down a little bit more, a little bit more. He was a hockey player. That's
Oh, wow.
That gives it away. Canadian
Wait,
hockey, you know, same
That
thing.
okay.
Least favorite champions are Yumi, Sona, and Senna.
Good answers.
So maybe some support, some support bias
Good
there.
answers.
Original competitive team was Remembrance Gaming when he started out. So those are our 6 facts for our second player of the day. If you want to go ahead and get your guesses in, my analysts.
It's Spawn.
It's
Spawn.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just straight up. All right, Magic,
I'm
you
gonna
sticking
go.
with UG?
No, I'm gonna change it to Diamond.
To Diamond. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got Spawn and Diamond. Well, bada bing, bada boom. The player for our second Who's That Academy player is none other than Dignitas Academy bot laner Spawn.
All right, first
As
off,
he-
that's a great
Yes.
image. Spawn, you look
It
real
is.
nice in that
That is a
photo.
really good image.
Second off, Spawn's pretty tall.
He
And
is.
usually,
short.
like, hockey players are, like, you know, kind of, like, short and speedy. Like, if you put Spawn on skates, he's got to be, like, 6'4", 6'5". Like, that's a best.
Yeah, so
so
he's short.
Spawn, probably a defender. I don't know, maybe a goalie. Just taking some pot shots there about, like, you know, some guesses. But that's a tall hockey player.
That is a tall hockey player.
Yeah.
And I love the Ash shout out, you know, being able to
That
have
was a
that
good
one
play.
as a main
Yeah.
focus, all those kinds of things. So again, our second player is Spawn from Dignitas Academy. Ended up being 2 players from this series, you know, as it would be, but did have a little bit of fun finding some of those trivia facts, working with Kelsey to make sure we get something that can
Do we
throw
have any
you
more?
off, like the least. No, we only had
I like
2.
that.
We do
I
2.
like that.
So can I guess for the next one? Array.
Just mark it down right now. We'll make
yeah.
sure to clip it.
Array. That's gonna be the next one.
Well, everybody, we did run through all of our time talking about these couple players. That means that we are ready for Champion Select for our final game of the day. So, Magical Cubby, take it away.
And that we shall, Mazel, that we shall. After that last game, I am so excited for this one. I want to see how TSM bounced back. It was a nice edge throughout a lot of that. That was really just close. It was more macro for the first 25 minutes. And then suddenly they're like, all right, now we fight. Now we brawl consistently. And it's Dignitas who came out on top.
That was a fun game. I definitely, you know, I guess I realized that Azir, like, with 4 items is just back to being Thanos. I usually, like, Azir, like, last patch, it, like, pre-durability patch was like, all right, you kind of like lane bully, you're decent early, you can, like, go, like, attack bot, like, you get, like, outscaled by stuff like Victor, like, you get, like, one-shot later. When Azir doesn't get one-shot, you're allowed to, like, keep on autoing with those soldiers. The DPS that Azir puts out is still just filthy. So, I think we saw that last game from Insanity. I think it is important to note, we do have TSM on the blue side, Dignitas on the red side for this next one, and so far, same pick Ben. Gonna be TSM rocking the Wukong first pick. Saw Dignitas respond with Viego Lucian last time. See if that is the same plan this time around.
Yeah, because a lot of the bans are essentially, actually all the
It's
bans
not,
are the
wow.
exact same. So they don't go
Okay.
for the same strategy that I kind of expected Dignitas to go for. They grab that Senna. There we go. We got the graphics changed up so everyone can see. But yeah, they just go for Senna Tom Kench instead.
So, I mean, that's funny, because Spawn just said that he hates Senna. So I
Yeah,
guess
I know.
Spawn just hates this game. But maybe switching things up, maybe realizing that, you know, Lucian Nami was a bit too squishy for what TSM threw at them in the early game, and not wanting to go up against the Nautilus Ahri again. So that was a very close game that we just had. Probably my favorite game of the split so far.
Oh,
But
same.
Dignitas, we'll see if they end up responding with a jungler. Would not be surprised we saw something like a Kindred, like a Viego here. This was the
Kindred.
same set. Yeah, so this is the same 1-2-3 that Dignitas ran in Game 2 yesterday, going up against EG. So Dig having a lot of comfort here.
Having a lot of comfort and looking to play a very similar style. If we look at the draft too, just kind of reminisce about that. It was on blue side, so it was a little bit different. Fact is, I don't expect Azir to be let through this time around. After the performances we've already seen from him, I'm like the Ahri got banned by them, but I'm expecting to see, yep, there it is. That is here.
I think you got to pay some respect towards what Insanity has been able to do at the start of the split. And Azir also interacts really well with Nam's Respite, can push people off. Displacement, always really valuable with that Kindred R. So, like the fact TSM recognizing some of Insanity's prowess on one of the champions that he has been known for historically in the Azir, and also recognizing some of the synergy you have with the Kindred. So, just a lot of mid-lane bans being thrown down as Dignitas Curious what they're setting up for here for their mid lane pick on 4. A Twisted Fate and an Ahri being taken away. Tells me they're looking at potentially playing a melee mid laner.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Something that doesn't have to worry about getting bullied by those that would. They're in the Ahri and Twisted Fate. Also, with Azir being banned out by TSM. Cassandra could be an option, but after how Insanity's played these last few games, I want to keep seeing him on things that can carry, things that can be very impactful for his team.
Just taking away some of the playmaking from TSM. As we do expect mid lane to be locked in here for Dignitas. Get Tony Top that counter pick. As Tony.
No way.
The Jax was left open.
Yo!
We're blinding Jax?
Yo,
oh my goodness.
That's a Tony Top special, man.
Oh my goodness. Blind Jax on the rift, throwing things down for Soul as, man, really interested to see what Soul ends up answering with here, as Soul, player that, you know, played a lot of weak side, was mostly Graves, Gragas duty on that IMT AoE team where they attacked bot lane consistently.
Okay.
As TSM do have to blind a mid laner. That is going to be Orianna, so a lot of mid laners have been taken off the table. But man, blind Jax, my goodness.
Yeah.
What do we see here?
That's what I'm curious to see. If Wukong gets flexed up by Soul, put that top lane, maybe a Fiora picked up by her Soul, or do you just go back to the tank duty? You go back to Ornn duty and then still suffer against that Jax. The Gragas, we haven't seen it in quite a bit, so that'd be curious to see if it does get locked in.
It is a specialty pick for Soul. That will be the Gragas. So a lot of displacement. We did talk about Lamb's Respite. Gragas has a lot of value here. You can 2-for-1 with Tahm Kench. You can knock people off Lamb's Respite. So I kind of like the pick for Soul. But this does leave things open for Insanity. He does have counter. See what Insanity is going with. I don't think that's going to be the Galio. I think we're going to see a pretty high damage mid laner out of Insanity. Honestly, I think Victor Vel'Koz does counter Ori. Yeah.
I wanted to see the Vel'Koz. He just played so well on that yesterday. But the Victor, it worked. It really is a good kind of finishing touch for what Dignitas have drafted for themselves. They've got good scaling with that Victor, with the Kindred, with the Jax. So it actually works out well.
So it's a really powerful bot lane for Dignitas early, and then there's some scaling the other aspects of the map. But I want to see what XU does with that Kindred. It's the matchup that XU seems to like into the Wukong. Did play it yesterday in that series. They played it, the 2-0 over EG. And XU, with the Kindred, of course, do have some options to hop over some walls, get creative with the pathing, and you should have some sort of priority in the top lane very early with the Gragas, get shoved with the Q. Curious to see if XU is able to do anything with that. Maybe attack Hyper a bit in this jungle matchup.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like TSM in this game do need to play a bit more proactively early into the game. Last time they kind of let things slow, let the pace be slow because that's how their competition was. It wanted to scale, but I'm looking at Dignitas who scaled just as well.
I think the big key for the side of TSM is that you have to find and engage before Kindred gets Lamb's Respite down. Because the Shockwave plus Wukong ult could be huge, but if Lamb's Respite eats that, it's tough.
And here we are. It is our last game of the day here on the Path to LCS stream. We've got Dignitas, who took that first game after a long-fought battle over TSM Academy with a couple swap outs and champions. A couple things a little bit differently. Looking at that Gragas, looking at that Jax. We're in for quite the showdown.
And we'll see if this Jax can be controlled by the side of TSM Academy, as Tony Top. This is his champion. This is what Tony Top has been known for. The fact that he blinds Jax, it really tells you how confident Tony Top is in his Jax play, and historically, who can blame him? If Tony Top's able to go aggressive, he knows the limits of this pick. He knows every matchup you can play as the Jax. So I don't love the strategy, but it is the strength of Tony Top, and I'm interested to see if he can make sure it pays off in favor of Dignitas in this game.
Well, I think it's also Tony Top saw Camille banned by TSM, and it's like, perfect. This is a perfect setup to pick Jax.
What? That's when you want to pick Jax, when you see a Camille. That's when you want to slam it.
I don't know. Well, last season, we saw Tony Top play the Jax into Camille and get bodied, so I don't know.
Maybe that was just jungle diff. At least that's what I type in solo.
You got solo kill, man!
All right. Well, moving forward, Dignitas, we do expect them to have a rather strong lane with the Senna Tahm Kench. I mean, we've seen this lane so much now. Just the fact that you can bully with it is so so good as, oh boy. Exu.
And he's got the
Hyper
mark on
did
the Hyper,
pull.
too.
Yeah, he did pull both camps, so that means he's going to be a little bit lower as Exu.
Right.
Here we go.
Looks
That's
to
going to force a
fight
flash.
around that Gromp. Getting a lot of damage with the help of the red buff to kind of chase down Hyper. Hyper, very vigilant, though. Waited to see if Exu was going to overextend and really try to look for the dive before flashing.
I thought I was going to force a flash. Instead, Exu just forces him out. Hyper has to hit base. That feels terrible.
I mean,
Yeah,
but still, the patience out of Hyper is impressive.
Yeah, at least it's no flash, but he is so far behind in the jungle clear now. Really like, again, Exu, you have the potential to get up in the face of enemy junglers early as Kindred. Utilize the red buff, utilize the range. Love that Exu recognizes that, goes for it early.
And with that, and with the knowledge that Hyper is struggling a little bit, they've sent Mia up towards the mid lane, mostly probably to defend against a Exu invade. Right now with Hyper still on red buff.
Yeah, just looking proactively with some of the push that TSM has is Mia at least going to spot Exu, so get some information for the side of Hyper. But again, Hyper very far behind in that clear. Has yet to even finish his second camp. Exu already working on his fourth.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think Mia was sent to kind of guard the jungle. Make sure that Exu wasn't going to look for another play into the jungle of Hyper. With Hyper still getting up there, he's still... Oh, God, no, never mind. He is way behind Exu.
Yeah, he was doing those two at the same time. So, you know, a little cheating there for the Kindred as Exu doing some good stuff. And
Well,
Exu also did roll the mark.
I was about to... You took my thunder. I was
We're on the
about
same
to say,
page here, man.
Yeah, we usually are. Because I looked at that, I'm like, oh, unfortunate for Hyper, too. The roll of the dice did not come out his way. He got snake eyes. So, unfortunately, he'll have to stick to this bottom half. Gives up a free mark to Exu.
God, even the treatment from Tony Top. Using that free Counter-Strike, taking the shield away. Saving the smite here for Exu. Doesn't have it available, but able to get that first mark for himself. And see if Exu decides to look for anything else. His soul, that wave is technically shoving away from him in the top side.
But it's a cautious game still from both sides. I was expecting to see something more aggressive out of TSM, but Exu stopped that dead in its tracks. Once he went in for that, it was over.
This matchup is really tough for the Wukongs. Oh, Exu flashing.
Oh, takeover flash barely over the wall. I knew he was trying to flash over the wall, but I thought he was not going to make it in time.
That was close. Exu will have to group up with Insanity here to group push this wave in. Honestly, decent attempt from Dignitas, but I'd say that fact that play went wayward is pretty good for TSM, as at least Takeover will get to eat this wave before burning TP.
Also, 2 flashes were burned on Dignitas with just the 1 from Takeover. It does make Takeover very susceptible still, but you'll take the trade of 2 for 1.
Still Exu on the rampage, gonna go take that mark on the Gromp as JJ. That's an Ignite.
That's Ignite, but Abyssal Dive gets him a little bit of distance away from the members of TSM. You have to remember, while the Santa Tom Kench is a pretty good lane, you pick Ezreal Karma into this lane to constantly harass them and never really give them a moment to relax.
Still able to farm up, though. And I mean, the other reason that you like the Ezreal and the Karma is that as the game moves on, you can make Tahm Kench feel pretty useless.
Yeah.
Just using all that range and making sure your team can kind of maneuver around the TK. Playing at a distance, always favorable, giving TK less opportunities to get that high value devour. So we'll see if that pays off for TSM, but I gotta say, I really like this draft for Dignitas. And I really feel like this is one where they have a leg to stand on in the early game on the bot side with the Senna TK, but the scaling of the Victor, the Kindred, the Jax is insane. And Dig, their 1-3-1 is going to be really strong, and as long as that big cast doesn't connect in these team fights, I think that Dig will also be at the advantage.
The fact they also were able to put Wukong behind with the Kindred matchup really has helped them out, making sure they're going to get towards this point where they get some of those items, where they don't feel as threatened. But with the fact that we had that play earlier, where Insanity used Flash, TSM wanted to have something. This is where we even talked about earlier that we want TSM to be a little bit more aggressive early on, but Dignitas are not even giving them the chance.
Hyper burning a lot of time trying to set up that mid play. We'll get the crab in the back half and then can clear top to bot, but again, Exu very far ahead in this matchup as the Kindred, and you can see Dignitas now moving that bot lane into the bot side river, potentially setting up for a play mid to help Insanity at least get this wave in and protect the Victor, who is flashless.
At least for quite a bit longer. Won't have that summoner spell available, He's got great wave clear from a distance. He's relatively safe, at least until Hyper gets that Cyclone available once he hits level 6.
Curious to see what happens for Dignitas, as XU is ahead in this jungle matchup.
By a
XU,
lot.
yeah, by a lot. So Rift Herald's coming up here in a minute. This bot wave from Dignitas is going to start to push in their favor as TSM just crashed. So if Dignitas want, they could set up a potential dragon take by shoving out mid and bot, but Rift Herald, again, the higher priority objective in the early game. Get some gold for your team. And we'll see if Dig wants to make a play for that. Of course, they are winning the jungle match right now, and XU doesn't want to let Hyper get any of these Gromps for free as he jumps over and finds Wukong again. Level 6 of level 5.
But bot lane, there's a bit of a skirmish going on between the two of them as well. We saw an alt use Hyper surviving. Well, even Insanity was getting a part of the action. He used the Chaos Storm to make sure Takeover couldn't join to try to save his jungler.
But again, while all this is going on, you cannot move the Senna Tahm Kench lane out. And Dignitas is winning the war of attrition, and Instinct doesn't connect. He's got a flash. I think he's dead.
Ignite. That's Last Embrace connecting. No escape. First Blood gonna go to spawn with Mia. Soon to fall as well underneath his own turret.
Oh, man, that flash being burned. The auto was already cast. That just adds salt to the wound here for the side of TSM. Is now XU looking mid. Takeover, still no flash. Ooh.
Shockwave just a little bit off there from being
cute.
able to pull back in XU. I think it was more just in case XU stepped forward to look for a dive.
I also love this from Dignitas because some of this is enabled by XU. The fact that you see Hyper in the topside jungle and Hyper has to burn flash to get out, that enables Dig to step up. They know they can go for this play because they know that no one else can get involved. So again, team effort from Dignitas and playing with the right knowledge, finding the correct all-in. The second kill is just a bonus, just icing on the cake for Dig, who have put together a really nice early game off the back of XU, taking the winning jungle matchup, finding Hyper, setting the Wukong behind, and doing the most with this priority that he has given himself and his team.
When you have a scale composition getting ahead early into the game, it always feels bad to face off against. So TSM trying desperately to grasp at straws to get themselves in a position to better fight the scaling aspects of Dignitas. While they're down about 1,000 gold, getting this dragon will be at least somewhat of a boon.
XU will pick up that third mark, taking the Gromp, or I should say the Crab.
Yeah.
So, XU, one mark away now from being real strong. Yeah.
Yeah, and once you get the fourth, that's always usually when the power
Yep.
of Kindred comes into effect. Obviously, after that, always beneficial too.
So Rift Herald now picked up by the side of Dignitas. They already have Sums down bot lane. I really want to see XU attack. He's going to clear out his bot side jungle. They have Shove. I think this could be the perfect opportunity for Dig to drop Shelly, get some more gold in their lane that's already ahead bot.
God, and just look at that lead
Wow,
for
he's skipping the
XU.
camps, yeah.
He's skipping the camps. Kelsey tweeted out that XU was her player to watch for this season, and XU is kind of proving her right. He is doing so amazingly with this Kindred in to Wukong to punish Hyper.
Meanwhile, Minion take over.
They both have
Aggressive
flashes,
trade.
so I'm expecting them to still survive each of them. It would have been kind of interesting to see if they both continued that battle.
But XU smells blood. Takeover, yes, flash is up, but XU making a pit stop mid, making sure the takeover base will go off. But
Yeah, Hyper was there to defend him. Once XU saw Hyper, he's like, okay, I can't really fight this one out anymore. He instead turns his attention on to that
Wins
camp,
it.
gets himself a free stack off of it.
that's the fourth mark, too. And again, XU, knowing that he can just walk into this Wukong, is not under threat, has that Lamb's Respite. And every time that Wukong is spotted by the side of Dignitas, it enables Spawn and JJ to step up. Notice how aggressive JJ is playing with these Abyssal Voyages as the ult goes wide for Instinct, and Dignitas are going to continue to win the war of attrition in the bot lane.
But TSM do at least gain some ground. A little bit of a push back and forth, trying to contain XU the best they can, especially with the size of the lead. Once he finishes that Noon Quiver, the Mythic, he's going to be really difficult for TSM to deal with.
It's already made this game difficult for TSM. Again, game plan for TSM, sync up the Wukong Orianna ultimate and try and get people off of Lamb's Respite. But I really feel like the draft for Dignitas, there's so many ways to get out of that. Devour from Tahm Kench. Lamb's Respite itself, you have to be very, very specific as TSM to make sure that you know, even if you attack XU, you were able to blow him up, and I just don't think they have enough tools. I think it's really going to come down to these casks from Soul.
Yeah.
You have to move people off the damage fight for this to work for TSM.
They're playing patiently like they did in the previous game, which is, you know, it's usually a good thing to see teams play patiently. But here, they attempt the play. They try to make it a little bit more of an accelerated game, but they weren't able to get it because Insanity was right on top of it all.
Nice flash from Insanity as takeover flash force due to XU showing, and Shelly will be dropped mid to get some bonus plates going over to the side of Dignitas.
Giving a lot of gold to Insanity as well. Continue to escalate this game. Get some of the gold off of just XU and spread it around to someone like Victor. It's going to make it even more difficult for TSM unless this play works out this time around, and it does.
Much needed win for TSM. Again, feel like they have to push the pace of this game forward. We'll see if they are able to maybe set up for a dragon now. I mean, this mid lane matchup, it's interesting because both teams have showed mid so often, it's actually become very volatile.
I feel like for the side of TSM, a good win condition is to fall back onto these dragons, so long as they can contain XU and make sure he's not close to it.
We'll see. I mean, again, I feel like they have to force fights early because, yes, the Senatom Kench, as the game goes on, I would favor an Ezreal Karma team, but I think Victor's what breaks everything. Victor has so much range, and yes, you can get peppered out by Ezreal. You can try and absorb from the Karma, but I still think it's going to be too much in the end. And Victor, going into Wukong, going into Orianna, you combine that with the Lambs fight, with what Kindred can do in these fights, and I think that TSM have to hit the earlier windows. And because Soul has just been kept in that top lane, like, yes, Soul is doing fine in the 1v1. It's somewhat even, but it hasn't enabled for Soul and TSM to look for proactive plays with this Gragas, try and isolate people, try and utilize the combo of the mid-jungle from TSM to find kills. And the more that Dignitas are bought time, are bought, you know, solo laners to scale in this game, the better it gets for them.
Exactly. So for TSM, they've got to force some of these fights eventually. They got to make sure, one, they're not giving over any more stacks to XU so he can hit that next mark of 7. But they also have to make sure they're punishing something that is immobile, like Insanity on Victor. Otherwise, they're going to get punished heavily from its range.
And even when this dragon spawns, look at the mythic item difference from XU compared to Hyper. Hyper doesn't have that Divine Sunder, doesn't have that big spike you're looking for on the Wukong yet. So all the time, care, and effort put into Dignitas getting XU ahead. We'll see if it pays off in this dragon fight, as Dignitas, knowing they have the item advantage, are forcing really hard.
There's no TPs from either top laner. Hyper could have got in, but it was too late. He got pulled back in by the gravity well. Now JJ is continuing this fight, pushing away the remaining members of TSM.
Tough look for Hyper there, as he thought he could get over the gravity well, get through it. Not the case. Wukong going to be set to the gray screen. And XU just gets to continue to snowball himself a lead. Hyper's in the gray screen. He says, oh, look, Krugs are up. I'll take those. I'll take another mark for myself. That's now 6 for the Kindred.
Because he got the 5th one off of Wukong. He gets that one as well. One away from the 7 mark. That gives him the extra damage. A lot of things looking positive for Dignitas. Well, TSM still playing in the same mentality from the first game, but with a different composition, one that doesn't scale as well as Dignitas does. It's getting a little dicey here, and I'm worried for their safety.
Yeah, I think as we shift into the mid game, again, all eyes have to be on Soul. Can these tasks move Dignitas off of Lamb's fight? Can they separate Dignitas so that these combos from Hyper and Takeover can hit? And then Instinct, because of course Ezreal, you know, as the game goes on, Ezreal, if the Qs land, if you're able to position correctly, just keep on pumping out damage, that's one way that you can try and turn things around, but everyone at Dignitas can be pretty tanky in their own right, so I think that Instinct is going to be a tough task for him, but once that Miramana comes in, with that first strike, Instinct will be pretty far ahead of the power curve, and might be what TSM needs to kind of bridge the gap for this mid game.
Good. But we're not there yet. We're still waiting, and Dignitas are playing aggressively. They're making sure they force back and take over full control of the bottom half of the map.
Something else I really like. Oh, hold on, Instinct. Oh, boy.
Flash. He has Arcane Chip. He has Flash. He can still get out of there.
Still, Summoner Spell bought as Ultimate goes wide from Instinct. something I really like that Dignitas is doing, moving Spawn around with XU when XU is taking camps. Not only can you support XU moving forward, but also Senna gets a lot of souls from jungle camps.
True.
It's going to accelerate Senna ahead. This is something that G2 pioneered with Reckless on the Senna. So Spawn already almost at 60 souls.
Yeah, 59.
That's really good for the 17-minute mark and Spawn. So I really like how Dignitas is doing that, just getting even more out of the Senna pick.
Just getting as much as they can out of every pick, honestly. Jax has been pretty immobile. Not immobile. Invincible.
Doing his thing.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing. He's not.
Blind Jax
not,
is even.
Right, he's even. He's not really able to get moved out of that lane. You have Spawn getting more sacks. They get the turret in mid lane with no answer from Hyper and Takeover, who tried to have a play. And all the while, more and more sacks for XU. He's still at that 6, and with another mark there on the same Krugs, he can look for 7.
And there's no way that Soul can contest that wave or contest that bot side. Is Spawn.
Oh, Spawn. Well
Mistake from
done.
Spawn. Good flash, though.
Hey,
yeah.
it was a good flash. Even if it was a bit of a mistake, he keeps himself alive with a great flash.
Don't want to get split up from that Tom Kench. Those are the windows that TSM are looking for. So at least getting one summoner spell down might be able to punish in the back half as XU.
XU still fighting aggressively. Actually, you know, I just realized that XU I don't think ever cleared those Krugs beforehand, and that's why the mark had remained there.
Well, no, if you take the big
stack.
one,
Yeah,
you take the big one, you get it.
No, but the thing is, it didn't reset the clock on the internal game to put it on a different minion.
Interesting.
Because the camp was technically still there and not fully killed. So he gets the mark, but didn't get the reset.
I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe I'll have to consult Forrest with him.
Yeah, because I was just looking at that. I'm like, wait, there's the mark on the same Krugs. And then I look and there's only the little ones. I'm like, wait. Oh.
Yeah.
He must have already gotten that beforehand. That or Soul took it. I'd have to watch the footage.
Either way, something a little bit minor. Looking at the scoreboard, we are 1 minute away from our third dragon of this game, Mad Magical. Will be Ocean Soul, first Ocean Dragon on the Rift, and
have we
Dignitas.
had Ocean almost every game except for one today?
We got a replay, baby. Soul took it.
Soul did take it. Okay, cool.
See ya. All right,
Perfect.
No mark for XU. Soul says no chicken nuggets for you, man. I'm taking these big rocks, or I guess no bonus. Chicken nuggets are up north.
Ooh, nice shockwave.
Okay.
Hits JJ, but he's got thick skin. He's still doing
have
well.
managed
The
to fight.
flash in
Oh,
from
boy.
Insanity with the Chaos Storm burning as well. They're getting flashes out of TSM. The flash coming in for XU, but XU's playing really greedy, and he's in the middle.
Oh, my goodness.
Soul knocks him
There it
out.
is.
That's the combo you wanted to see out of TSM.
XU can do that because Tom Kench is in the back pocket, but Soul, that cask so good, knocks him out of the damage fight, knocks him away from JJ so he cannot be stayed. As now Dignitas trying to contest Shelly being dropped. This will not crash.
Won't crash, but they're still low and they're forced on the map still with only 5 seconds remaining until Dragon spawns.
And they can just wait for XU to get back. I think all the poke from Senna, from the Tom Kench, they can retreat back into the Shroud, eat some of these, but the poke, honestly, back from Instinct, it's pretty good. We'll see if it can buy enough HP, buy enough time for TSM to take this, but I think the health bars are too low. Dignitas, even down a man, win out on the War of Attrition, and should be able to obtain this dragon.
The reset should have been just a little bit sooner for TSM so they could contest around this dragon, but instead, no. Okay, good. I saw pings on the Baron. I'm like, you don't try to YOLO this. You don't have the greatest take on that that Baron.
If you're too low for Dragon, you're probably too low for Baron, you know?
Well, I think they
That's
expected everyone to be on Dragon, so that's why they thought they could get there, but they take forever to take an objective, and you gotta take a look at this play, and it really is Soul that makes it at least worthwhile for TSM.
This is good for TSM. Again, the Ezreal Karma, just playing at range, utilizing the poke. It's a good start to the fight, and honestly, they split off Insanity. XU just goes too far forward, thought he had the read, but that cast from Soul, that was beautifully placed. Really good stuff. Did talk about Soul's Gragas. Was one of his most played champions in the split with Immortals AoE, with Soul oftentimes being left to his own devices in the top side. Soul showing that he has some expertise on this champion. Really nice cast, picks them up one, and now Spawn.
Spawn spots out, the people are there.
Really
Knew that
really
there's probably something dicey. He hadn't seen a lot of the members on TSM. Spots them out, forces them away from their side of the jungle.
Really well done by Spawn, as we'll be able to step up and check out that ward in a sec, whereas TSM, they're pushing Spawn, no flash.
Hyper, look at the shockwave combo with that so they can take out Spawn, and Dignitas understand they don't really want to re-engage that fight.
And look at XU's ultimate. No Lamb's Respite even available for Dig, so really good cooldown tracking going on by TSM. The fact that there was no Kindredar, no Flash on the Senna. Love that commit from Hyper, and TSM is they're at least trying to get a little bit of a foothold in this game. Still feel like they're behind, but a couple nice plays, keeping things close.
Oh yeah, they're about 2,000 gold behind at the moment. Still need to get some of these turrets so they can claw back a little bit of that deficit in their favor. But all in all, these recent plays, these past plays, have been coming up TSM. Getting the kill onto XU, getting the kill onto Spawn, and a shutdown as well. Now, a lot of these plays, as long as they can continue to find these little picks, these little moments, will work out so well for them.
And importantly, I mean, look at Instinct. Most gold in the game on that first strike Ezreal. I did talk about how Instinct, he is the one that can kind of break the scaling of Dig, utilize that poke to just keep health bars though, stay at range. He's starting to get really fed. Had that early Miramana at like 18 minutes. Now working towards that third item for the Ezreal. We'll see what he ends up going with, but Instinct could be the saving grace here for TSM as they really try to battle what Dignitas is throwing at them.
I think takeover on this Orianna, where the lane phase was a little bit rough, got an early flash blown by a gank from XU, has been able to do an incredible job of staying even, but now even being ahead of Insanity. And one thing that we kind of didn't get a chance to talk about is that Orianna scales really well. Like, while the rest of the team, so not bad scaling, but Orianna and Ezreal, as the game continues on, do get incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Orianna's always going to be useful, but you aren't Victor. That's the one thing. So it's not like Takeover's not, you know, will be useful, but I would take a Victor usually as the games go late. But hey, we'll see what Takeover can do. Has that Wukong the combo off of his TSM. We just have some control on the map, able to get some shove in the lanes. Actually, might even be able to take this mid lane outer.
The first turret.
You can see how much more difficult it is now for Tahm Kench to approach these waves. This game goes later. TSM has more items, more power. Tahm Kench has to be careful.
Gotta be careful, gotta stay far back. Even with the force of nature to kind of survive a little bit of the burst, a little bit of the power from both Takeover and Instinct. It's not too bad. Honestly, I actually don't think it's too bad for JJ at all now that I'm reading.
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I want to see more force of nature someday.
I was about to criticize it. I'm like, wait, no, actually, I think that's really good buy.
Yeah, I think Tony Top is going Hullbreaker, but honestly, it should be Maw this game if I'm Tony Top. You get insane value out of that item. Yeah.
Yeah, more magic resistance, trying to make sure that a lot of that damage that comes in from Takeover and Instinct is going to be mitigated.
Yeah, look at Insanity, right? The early Banshees Veil. Again, really like this from Insanity. Gonna be a lot of protection for the Victor. We'll see what he ends up going for next. It will be less damage, though, so maybe that is a window again. TSM looking to blow up the members of Dignitas, looking to separate them and land that Wukong Orianna combo. Did so very well in the last fight, thanks to XE going a little bit far forward. See if Dignitas can fix some of their mistakes and a little bit of a better setup and team fight execution in this one.
Well, with 25 seconds until the next Ocean Dragon spawns, you don't want to give up the soul point potential to Dignitas. You want to at least contend against it just a bit.
Tony Top did build a Hullbreaker. That's the full commit on Jax, babe. We're going to build Hullbreaker and then grouped. I don't love to see that, but
right,
you know, committing the split push,
I was just about to criticize him. Like, he builds it, and then he runs down mid to try to join up with his team and start trying to split push, which is what he's built for with
he
that.
Split.
Now he's away from everyone else. There is potential that it could flank with Tony Top. He's waiting it out, has the Grandmaster's Might available, but instead it's just a back and forth dance.
But they see Tony Top mid, so TSM, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think they have to make a move, but look at all the poke from the Victor again, just keeping them at bay. And TSM, even in the 5v4, are too afraid to commit into the river, into the choke, due to the Tony Top flank. They just give away that dragon for free, so now Dignitas are on soul point. Really well played again by Insanity. All the poke he was able to connect with out-poked the Ezreal team and was able to get that objective for Dignitas for free.
Space making. He was able to build so much for the team using the gravity well, that Chaos Storm 2 that he used just to keep TSM away. And as you talked about, they also were threatened by the fact that if they go in too deep, Tony Top can flank.
TSM opt to not join the fight. Something that, I mean, I think this game is really tough for the side of TSM, given, at this point, all the scaling that you have on the side of Dignitas. how far ahead XU is. I mean, look at those inventories for the Kindred versus the Wukong. That CS as well, as it's been a really, really good game from XU. And we'll see if Dignitas can turn this into a 2-0, and honestly, a statement 4-0 start from them. Especially with Tony Top subbing in, Insanity being added, that roster change they made. You could not ask for a better start out of Dignitas, as they are looking to move to 4-0 with this game, and honestly poised in really good shape at this point.
TSM, though, having a dominant performance yesterday and a really well-fought game 1 against Dignitas. Don't seem like they're giving up anytime soon. I'm pretty sure we're about to have another certified banger here, Cubby.
I don't know. This game looks pretty quiet and pretty
That's how
favored.
it was last game, and then suddenly
That's true.
fights broke out forever.
You know, we can always count on Dignitas to make things interesting. I feel like that's something Dignitas was very consistent on last split. Probably too interesting for Dignitas' own liking. But we'll see if Dig is able to contest as Insanity. The rest of Dignitas hugging bot side, supporting Tony Top, as they know that TSM really cannot start this Baron. If they do, the damage coming out from Insanity, that magic damage debuff that Baron puts on you, it's way too much. So Dignitas, knowing this, get the split mid-wave and make sure that Tony Top's safe in the split push.
It's also not like TSM can take it that quickly. They don't have the best tools to melt down the Baron in an effective way, not like when you have something like an Azir on your team or a Kindred that can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time.
We'll see. At the moment, it feels like Dignitas are just pretty content to wait for this upcoming dragon. And of course, it is Ocean Soul. Will force a team fight out of TSM. They really still feel like they're in an advantageous position as long as XU is able to get that Damage Spike down. More items coming into the inventories as XU getting some armor pen. And a completed Ravenous Hydra for Instinct. Again, Instinct is going to be that saving grace, that one opportunity for TSM to get back, as it's going to offer some wave clear on some vamp for Instinct. TSM.
No, I like this play.
Baron.
I criticize how slow it takes them to actually take this, but the fact that we had the resets from XU, he's going to be too late. They're gonna secure this. It's about getting out of here. That's going to be the big issue for TSM. They got the root coming in from that.
Nice from Soul.
With a shockwave on top.
Soul.
Combo to match them all around. Insanity flashed in. Looked for the kill on the Instinct, but wasn't able to land it.
Oh boy, this is all Dig.
That pistol dive. They got the knock up onto Hyper, and he'll sacrifice them.
How many can get out?
How many will survive? You got a low health bar.
Three's good.
Across the board. They've got 3 out of there in Soul. He's still dodging away. He's barely taking here with that Thimble Winter. The blast going over the wall. Finally, he falls to XU.
3 is really good. And again, TSM, they have to do something. They have to make an attempt. They get outscaled. They do not want to fight Ocean Soul when Dignitas has bot river control. So I love the force. I love the call as TSM try to save themselves in this game. And again, it was double resets coming out. Dig, 4 members in base. Tony Top not showing on that wave. Full commit from TSM. It pays off huge for them. And a really good start to the fight against Soul. Splitting everyone up was massive.
The fact that you still have 3 members that survived, like you talked about, is great for TSM, but they tried to re-engage the fight. That made it really difficult. And I think they probably could have gotten more members out of the fight had they just not engaged, had they tried to continue to peel back.
Honestly, they had no chance of like getting out. I feel like they had to re-engage and just get as many members out as they could. The fact they got 3 out is a huge win. Like, this is massive for the side of TSM. I don't think that could have went any better for them.
I thought they could have created a bit more distance, but I'll defer to you. You're the big brain here.
I don't know. TSM, the issue with their comp at the moment is that they really don't have any damage, especially at range, outside of Instinct. And everyone else on Dignitas interacts so well with TSM, like Insanity. Every single one of these E's is just pumping on the side of Dig. So I still think it's a really tough game for TSM, and it's really just down to Instinct to Soul.
Nice devour, though, from JJ.
Really well done.
So Insanity doesn't get bounced back into TSM. The turret will fall in exchange for the turret in top lane. And TSM are continuing to pressure into the base of Dignitas.
They take 1 turret, it's being traded out evenly, and with the Baron, I mean, TSM just have to keep on going. Eventually, they're going to have to take this dragon as well. Again, it is Ocean Soul for Dignitas, but I like how TSM committing with the Baron to playing the lanes. It's Tony Top. You can see how strong he's gotten inside lane with the Hull Breaker. That's another turret falling.
Look how little damage Soul was able to do on top of Tony Top, too.
Soul's got no
that inhibitor. So TSM have to make sure they gain control of the dragon, as XU is chasing down Instinct, but with the reinforcements that TSM have in the area, it's still risky. XU's been spotted out going over the wall, so he has to jump right back.
That's fine. TSM, they do what they came here to do, which was just deny Ocean Soul. That's still really big. Put some more time on the clock for them where it's competitive, but still, things are looking so dire with Tony Top. No one can move Tony Top out of the side lane. I don't think TSM has enough damage on their team to really do anything significant. They have to really rely on these casks, on these shockwaves to try and split up as many members as possible and get a kill to start the fight. Because Dignitas, if they survive the initial onslaught from TSM, TSM are doomed this game.
But TSM did get themselves a lot of gold from that play. The fact that they're able to go all the way down to the inhibitor turret in mid lane, they've got more gold onto Instinct, who sits at the most between all players in this game. They've got elements. They've got ways to play around.
And, I mean, a lot of it's going to be TSM being patient. They have to pick the right spot, because you can use Karma to, you know, poke, dance at range, try and get health bar advantages, and then go. And that feels like the winning scenario for TSM, where they can really defeat the scaling from Dig, but that doesn't take into account the side lane, where Tony Top is going to dominate whoever shows up in the side lane with this Hullbreaker Jax that is nearly level 18.
Yeah, he's going to be impossible to deal with
Yeah,
at some point.
he's massive.
At some point, he's just going to split push and win the game. So if you're TSM, how do you force an issue? How do you make sure Tony Top can never be in that position to just end?
I don't know, man. That's the tough part. That's what TSM's got to figure out. I really think that it just has to be picks and has to be abusing mistakes from Dignitas.
Okay.
And a Dig, credit to them, are playing really cautiously here, making sure that, you know, they're only showing when they see members of TSM. They aren't overextending into the side of the jungle that they do not control. They do not want to give windows for TSM to get cooldowns out of Dignitas, because that was the winning scenario we saw from TSM. When they got the Lambs for Spite and then fought afterwards, that's the TSM win con.
Though I will say, the fact that you're still uncertain about the win conditions here for TSM and how they can deny Tony Top from just outright ending the game, makes me more nervous for TSM. It doesn't bring me like any relief here.
Yeah, it's not a great spot.
No, but Dignitas certainly are. They've got the split push. They got Tony Top. He's going to be 18 soon. He can keep split pushing for days. He's got TP available too if he needs to join in with any fight.
And the Death Dance as well. So would have liked to see them all from the Jax here, but Death Dance does synergize really well with his kit as Dignitas covering mid, making sure Insanity can take this wave for himself, and making sure that if TSM try and go for controlling that embankment brush, would have had a way to get on them, as Baron is spawning here shortly. And credit to Dig, they have a nice line of defensive vision, but TSM at the moment do control the top river, as Tony Top is the one who is bot side. So wherever Tony Top isn't, that's where TSM has a chance to do something. But if Tony Top's in this side of the map, in this side lane, no one can stop him, as level 18 Jax is upon us, and the late game Jax Dream is here.
And probably doesn't even need those minions crashing into the tier 2 bot lane to take it.
Yeah,
the fact that they know Tony Top's there, they have to force this.
They're
have
to try and pull the
completely
TP.
on a ward, but look at where Dignitas is. Or, unlike last time, they're in a far better position to read the play and try to counteract it, which they do. They stop the Baron from being taken.
And Tony Top just face tanked the Gragas bot. He just straight up took that turret and lost 0 health. As Soul is playing this match out as well as he can, but he even popped early Elixir to try and get bonus damage. You cannot move this Jax. Jax is just too damn big at this point. And Tony Top is using the champion he has had the most success on in his academy and amateur career to great success, as he's putting on yet another admirable performance as a sub.
The fact that he can split push, take turrets like that, while his team just has to stand around by the Baron to deny that from TSM, it's continuing that trend that we were talking about for TSM, where they don't have very much hope in this game unless they have a miracle play, a good pick on someone who's just out of position from Dignitas to work.
Drop a control ward here. There's a ward that's been in the back of the pit twice now, so Dig knows instantly they can respond. It might be a little bit late though, as TSM, they're committing.
They should be able to get this.
Wow, it's down
quickly enough, but now they've got to make sure they're reset for that dragon. It's going to spawn here in 20 seconds. They're TPing in. They're just looking for the fight instead. I'm a little bit surprised by that, because they bounce around Soul. He has to go golden immediately, and they're in the thick of it all. Cyclone only going to be able to knock up one, while Tony Top looks to chase down Soul, looks to kill him as well, but he survives somehow, barely, but honestly, he was doomed from the beginning. Once he TP'd in, we knew his fate, and Dignitas make sure they take 2 so they can get the soul.
You can see the pressure that TSM feels because that TP from Soul, it was so deep. The TSM know that this game is so doomed. Tony Top wins on the side. No one can stop him. They have to look for plays. They had to look. Oh, okay. All right. That was close. Good attempt there from Instinct, but Ocean Soul is secured at the end of the day by Dignitas. Tony Top will be invincible in these side lanes as if he wasn't already strong enough as we get a second look. And again, TSM, they know they have to force, but Soul, it's too deep, too early.
The team wasn't in position to be able to counteract that. They had to be a little bit more cautiously. And Tony Top, yeah, he can 1v2. He can 1v3 at this point.
Honestly, I feel like if he stuck that one out, the chances of him winning were pretty high. But Tony Top knows that the only way that TSM can win is if he ends up going down. So he will just retreat, wait for his team to get back on the map. And Dignitas gonna look to play this one out a little bit slower. But still, I think we've seen the scaling of Dignitas come to fruition as, honestly, a 10-kill game, 37 minutes in. I don't know if we've seen a game this slow in Academy. I really don't. This is a new look. This has been pretty nice gameplay from Dig. It's been slow, but it's been calculated.
Slow, calculated, and thought out. Last game, we had that for the first 25 minutes, and then suddenly it blew up. But this game, Dignitas don't want to risk it. They're far more cautious this time around, playing for the right calls, the right plays. They've got a perfect position they found themselves in every single one of their members. Tony Top can split push, X-Use, a huge threat for the team with 3 items completed for the Skindred.
And again, saving grace has to be Instinct with his full build. Any significant poke that connects over time from the Ezreal will now be healed up by Ocean Soul. So that's a bummer, but, you know, it's still hope. The angle from TSM is they grouped up as 5. Dignitas don't give them any angles to engage, and get to let Tony Top go to work. As now, TSM gonna actually send Takeover to try and respond to the side lane Jax.
Yeah, they're just doing what they do best with Tony Top on the team, letting Jax do his thing. They just sit in mid, make sure this Baron is completely wasted by TSM, should time out momentarily. Nothing gained, nothing lost for Dignitas.
I will say, Dignitas needs to pick up one of these Barons, or else we're going to be here all day. We might catch up to the mainstream if we have Baron being taken by TSM every time.
Well, that depends. I mean, yesterday we were ahead of everyone because we had a lot of 40-minute games.
Yeah, that's true. So, end up seeing as Dig, 2 Barons down, still in complete control of this game, even 1k gold up. This is the power of scaling on the durability patch, where a little bit harder to you know, get picks, get yourself back in the game. A couple less angles.
You know, Cubby, the more I think about it, with how slow this game is, I kind of actually like it for Academy players, the developmental league that we have here, because it shows that these players are understanding how to slow down the pace of the game for TSM's sake, or even for Dignitas' sake, where they're looking for incremental leads. They're looking to slowly find victory by utilizing their scaling.
I like when it's calculated, and I feel like with Dig it has been calculated.
Yeah.
So I am a fan of that, as it is difficult to engage on Ezreal Karma, and Dignitas are realizing that, as that is one thing that their team comp does lack, is engage, but Tony Top in the side lane does make up for it. As you can see, Instinct's going crazy. He's playing well. He is connecting all these Mystic shots.
And
it doesn't matter.
Watch.
Not really.
Watch right now. As you get the reset, the Ocean Soul coming into effect. Just going to heal up JJ Insanity pretty much back to full in just a couple seconds.
I think actually he's waiting to see if Instinct E's in again. Because if Instinct does E in, that is the angle where actually
Instinct, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get baited in. The gravity will. That kind of gave away, actually, that they were looking for that play. I don't think, if you don't use the gravity well, then you bait in Instinct.
I will say also, Tony Top's really scared to step up, which is curious to me. I feel like Tony could be playing this a lot more aggressively in the side lane. As Tony especially has picked up the Force of Nature himself, making Jax all the more invincible in the side lane than he already was.
With the stopwatch, too. So he's going to be insane. I kind of want to go back onto that point you talked about. Like, you want Tony Top to play a little bit more aggressively, but you have to remember, this is a temporary sub for the side of Dignitas Academy.
Yeah.
This is a guy who wants to make sure that he's giving the best impression possible here on the Rip. And he doesn't want to throw the game away for Dignitas.
Yeah, like, yes, I realize that if he dies, that is the doomsday scenario for Dig. But I feel like, you know, he's playing this really cautiously. As actually Instinct, I think, funnily enough, has the privilege this late in the game to swap out Mythic items. Sold the Trinity Force, now a Divine Sunder for the Ezreal, trying to cut through these big health bars.
That's how much gold he's probably sitting on as well.
Yeah, he's chilling.
You see the elixirs built up on the side of TSM as well. They've got an elixir of iron for Hyper. They've got probably an elixir of Wrath, I'd imagine, for the side of Instinct. And now Dignitas want to punish them. They want to look at the engage. They've got the wave they're pushing. They've got the root. Oh, it's just the decoy.
It's all about cutting the wave. If they don't let the wave crash mid, if TSM cannot cross the river, then look at Tony Top. Just get to keep on splitting bot 4-3. So Dignitas in the 4v5, still complete control. Ezreal poke is not enough, and Tony Top is the one winning the game for them in the side lanes as Dignitas refuse to give TSM any angle to engage.
No, and they're just playing defensively. They're making sure they turtle up so there is no angle like we talked about. Tony Top just going to do his thing, and then once they notice that TSM have left, they can turn for the Baron.
This is interesting, though, because Elder is the higher value objective. You do Elder fast, or Dignitas actually melting the Baron. They're not going to get to Elder in time. So it's a trade, and TSM, they're the ones trading up.
Yeah, TSM need this as well. They've already gotten 2 Barons. They got a lot off of it in the past. But getting this Elder Dragon and denying that for Dignitas means that Dignitas are going to struggle to do what they were doing prior and poking them down.
And again, any angle where TSM can win this game, I feel like is good. Elder is the #1 angle that you want.
Elder.
What else can you ask for?
Well, you can ask for minions to take down the inhibitor turret mid lane so they get a free open inhibitor when they have that Elder Dragon to punish Dignitas.
I feel like Dig made such a big mistake there, though.
No, look, the TPN, they're just going to try to see if they can contest.
It's just Baron waves. They're just going to stop bases. But if they go too far up and they end up taking a fight, again, TSM have the winning angle with Elder.
Well, I think that Tony Top doesn't care. I think he wants this to work out. He's getting on top of that inhibitor. Soul is doing his damnedest to clear out the minions. Will deny that back door.
We're going to have another, like, 10 minutes in this game, Mad Magical. Get comfortable.
Oh,
it's going to be a handshake of monster buffs. We're going to be chilling
with, like, the fastest game on this day and the slowest game on this day.
I feel like Dig, like, they have total control over this game. They just haven't been able to take the correct monster objectives. Like, they dropped the 2 Barons, and then they traded Baron for Elder.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, that's really not ideal. Not efficient here.
Yeah. Well, and
fortunately
also,
for them,
they've given a lot of space to TSM. I think that's the biggest issue.
I mean, Ezreal does buy a lot of space, especially in the later stages of the game. But again, Tony Top, if he's in the side lane, that is the winning angle for Dig. But Tony Top is grouped, so this is, I would say, the one chance TSM could have to take this game. They have 50 seconds left on this Elder Dragon. If they are able to win a fight, that is how they can win. We will see if they have the damage to do it.
They have to be careful because it is the Baron-empowered minions that are denying their own minions from crashing into these Nexus turrets. So they're getting poked pretty heavily. Forced to have to retreat out of the base, wait for the next wave.
And that's the only Elder push they can have. So now we return to the map state, where both monster objectives will be synced up, Mad Magical.
Woo!
And we will see what happens.
Well, that Baron's probably going to time out in, what, 30 seconds from the side of Dignitas?
No, Elder is... so, yeah, Baron's done in 30, and Elder it wraps up in 5 seconds.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Dignitas not really able to utilize the push. They didn't even get that inhibitor in the top lane that Tony Top was trying to gain for the advantage for the team to have one wave pushing.
Fun times on the new patch as XU. I don't know, maybe XU can get like a double flame Horizon this game. Maybe that's a call.
Wait a minute. Oh, that was a bit dicey there for Spawn and Instinct. Not Instinct, for Insanity. They have Ocean Soul, but now it's just one True Shot Barrage that forces them back, so they keep crashing more and more minions back to the base.
So, the issue on so slow is that because TSM has Ezreal, you always have mid priority. This means that Tony Top, whenever there's like mid priority for TSM, Tony Top feels a lot of pressure to actually step up and keep on pushing in the side because he could get collapsed upon. So you can see Tony, whenever like members aren't showing, he is always stepping back. And I think that's, again, like, Dig just cannot force this advantage enough. We are stuck. We are just chilling here.
Instinct went back, and he's changed out his mythic a second time.
Oh, we got a Prowlers.
Well, he's got a Prowlers now.
Hell yeah.
He's looking for more damage, but
those Qs are slapping now.
They are, but Dignitas slaps down a turn. Oh no, look at the damage on top of Insanity. We'll be fine, can bail out of the fight.
Again, Insanity and Dignitas have Ocean Soul, so all the good poke that TSM just put in, it does get healed back up. And Dignitas to resume where their members are not on the map. Tony Top. Yeah, man, let's take Krugs.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Level 18, full build and base, most likely.
Cubby, we're aiming for a 70-minute game.
Take the Krugs.
I
Take
hope
those
you're ready
rocks,
for
man.
another half hour of this.
I mean, I guarantee you 10 minutes. I cannot do another half hour of this, man, Magical. I have to use the bathroom very bad.
Well, buckle up.
If it's another half hour, I'm going to take a pee break, and you're going to have to cover.
I mean, I could probably do that.
I can always count on you, buddy.
Yeah, it just won't be very smart stuff talked about. We'll probably start talking about some memes, and hopefully we'll see a third time that Instinct changes out his mythic.
That'd be fun. I want to see more people follow an Instinct's pursuit, change out mythics, as Insanity does lose the Banshee's Veil. That is significant later stages of the game. Again, TSM looking for any window they can possibly muster up. As most of TSM are spotted, Tony Top does feel comfortable enough to step up, and we are building a little bit of tension. It is 1 minute until both monster objectives. We will see if Dignitas decides to take the Elder. Again, any team that gets double monster objective will be at advantage, even TSM. And as long as the map state is what it is, Tony Top will continue to be Thanos, as no one can deal with Tony Top on the side.
30 seconds until that Baron spawns as well. Getting a good push in the top lane.
Now
they're
split.
forcing a fight.
Oh, they split.
He's away from the team. XU flashed forward to try to take him down, but he's still alive.
There's no damage.
There's going to be TPs coming in. They've got a little bit of an advantage with Soul on the other side. The fact that Mia survived, this game continues on, Cubby.
I'm really surprised that Tony Top TP'd in, because again, he has the Hullbreaker split push. But I guess he realizes, like, they have to group up as 5. They need the Elder, as Spawn does get chunked, but does have the Senna Qs and Ocean to heal back up. Tony cannot engage on this fight. See how aggressively Soul looks.
Okay, well, Tony jumped in, looked for the flash stun on top takeover. The shockwave pulls him back and away. Instinct taking pretty low. Tony Top, he's cutting, he's doing what he can. Gobbled up and survived. They got the kill on Instinct on the other side. Hyper will fall. The game is finally cracked, Cubby. We've got Dignitas finding the fight they need. We are out of here.
There was a couple Baron snafus on the side of Dig, a couple monster objectives being traded out that were a little bit poor. You know, traded down, but Dignitas, end of the day, Ocean Soul, scaling, durability patch, it reigns supreme as Dig come together, find a 2-0 and move to 4-0 to start our Academy Summer.
What a start for Dignitas Academy here, having barely not qualified for the top 4 in Proving Grounds last year. They made some subs, they changed things out, and here they are now starting with a monumental start.
And honestly, I mean, that was a slow game, but it was calculated. There were very few windows where TSM actually had a chance to win that game. I think some of that is thanks to draft. Some of that, of course, I want to, praise a lot of the players. I know that Tony Top was playing the side lane very cautiously, so recognizing the win con, not only for his own team, but also for TSM. And honestly, for me, all the praise for that game has to go to XU, because XU had control of that game from level 2. And when you have control in a 4-1 comp, Tony Top gets to do what Tony Top did on the Jax, and that is just split to oblivion. Never took any inhibitors, but had complete control of the map for Dignitas for that entire game. As, 15 kills in like 48 minutes?
In 50. It was nearly 50. We were just
nearly
a couple,
50?
We were a couple seconds. Yeah.
That might be the longest game we've had of the year so far in Academy.
Well, we'd have to see, on the Academy stream. So remember, twitch.tv/Academy if you want to watch more of our Academy action. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a wonderful interview, and I hope you stay tuned for it.
You remember I asked you to meet in the middle. Now I'm here all alone again. You remember I call you. You were talking in riddles. Now you're lying to me again. You think I'm going crazy, but I'm not missing you. I only miss the illusion you pretended to be. I'm not acting crazy. I just said we're through. Baby, you gave a lot. What about trust? What about all this time you looked in my eyes, babe? What about commitment? What about all the
Welcome back to the post-game interview powered by Verizon. I'm bottom laner for Dignitas Academy. I've got Spawn after a dominant 2-0 victory. It was a long one though. Talk a little bit about that. Spawn, are you ready? Are you ready for long games? Is that normal now? What we should expect?
I mean, I think maybe we would have made it faster, but playing Senna, I'm not going to complain as much. I got goals at the end of the game, so it's fine with me.
All right, then it's perfect that you mentioned the setup because a little birdie told me behind the scenes that you had a few champions that you did not like, and Senna was on that list. So what's up with that, man? You just gotta play it for the team. What are you just giving up that volition?
I mean, I'm kind of liking Senna more. I don't like playing versus Senna that much because it's pretty annoying.
Okay.
But it's really good for team play, so I'll play it.
Hey, whatever works, because apparently it's working pretty well. Dignitas starting off with an intense 4-0 start to the Academy summer season. It is just the beginning, but you guys have come in with a win, it feels like, and your games, even though the second series have been a little bit more difficult, made you sweat a little bit. How has this early start been for you?
Yeah, I think it's great, for our just gonna try to keep the momentum going. It's a great start, but it's just the start of the season, right? We're gonna go for the tomorrow, but yeah, we're gonna try to keep it going.
Was there anything in the off season that maybe sparked this cool start or a great start, or is there anything that you did that's memorable in the off season that you would want to talk about?
I mean, for me, I got to go home last year. I didn't go home immediately. It's
Okay.
it's good to like kind of reset for me, go back, relax, friends and family, and play some golf. So
Hey, all right. What did you shoot? What did you shoot? Cubby's gonna want to know.
I mean, I haven't golfed that much, but
Okay.
lowest was 8. It's not okay.
Okay. You in a DM from Cubby. Heard him popping off, so we'll have to check back in on that one. I do want to talk. You're spending another split with Duo G. How has that been?
Yeah.
Ready for an entire new split, but having that one under your belt?
I think with JJ we work well together. We like JJ works hard. We both try to work hard, and I think we have the synergy. I think JJ's pretty underrated for wides. The meta has shifted to more range supports, but when it was the Nautilus and all that, like it's just too easy for him, right? And we're just gonna keep it going with the range supports too.
I like it. So then a more personal question is the classic Spawn coming out anytime soon? You got that in your pocket?
I mean, if there's an angle for it, or if it looks good, it's always ready.
Always back pocket. I like it. Well, I want to ask you a little bit of a serious question here and give you a little bit of a podium here because I want to know if I were to ask, are you LCS? What do you have to LCS teams that would be looking to pick? Well,
I mean, for me, I'm confident in play. Well, I think the biggest thing for me is I'll let my play speak for itself.
just calm words, easy. Let the for itself. I can appreciate that. Well, I just want to give you one last moment. Any shout outs out? Anybody want to talk about? Maybe somebody want to call out here in your competitive scene and give you the stage for a moment.
I'll just shout out to my friends and family supporting me back home. Also shout out to my teams and coaching staff. We'll just keep it going. Shout out to Dignitas and the sponsor.
You gotta get all that in there. Appreciate it so much, Juan. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Get ready for more tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna welcome back in Covey and Magical to wrap the day and cover a little bit of what I've seen on the day, as it has been another day of a bit of dominance there, Cubby.
I honestly, that game 2 between TSM, I understand why DIGA was so calm. Because if I had that voice in my ear in comms as Spawn,
dude, it's good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
chill. I'm chilling. It's like, hey, just like don't shave. All right, cool. I felt like the pace of the game there for game 2. I think Insanity even tweeted out like it was like so blank boring, but we picked up the 2-0. So hey, we had some fun today.
Hey, got to, and especially the way it was. I know you guys are probably tired, right? That was a long game. Even Spawn.
I'm not tired.
But right, I was gonna say we have a short day here on the Path to LCS stream, and I think having these longer games, even though it was not as many kills as maybe you would want, it's still intense, still tense, and getting to see. I just gotta shout it out, the blind pick Jax Tony top coming through here, just being an absolute force to be reckoned with. I think this last series really capitulated the fact that we wanted to have a match of the day, and this really lived up to the hype. Magical.
It was great. I mean, honestly, the first game of the series was really exciting, but the second one, I still think there were great moments. Like, it really shows the strength of a team like Dignitas with how they could slow down the pace of the game, look for the right moment to strike, constantly try to get the advantage. It's the only problem where some mistakes around like Baron, TSM take the Baron twice, where if they didn't do that, the game probably would have ended earlier. But regardless, it was a really difficult for TSM victory anyways.
It was indeed, and
That game was over for a long time.
It was. But
really
I like
was,
the
yeah.
fight. That's the thing, though. We have had a decent amount of one-sided games so far in Academy in the first 2 days, but I love it because you do still see the fight back within those games, and you still see some of the cheese and things that come out. But that makes Academy fun. That's what makes it exciting to see that even when it's one-sided, there's still opportunities for the ball to change hands, Cubby.
That's why we play the games, right? And I think TSM, I mean, props to them. I thought the game was really doomed, but they managed to somehow find like 2 or 3 winning angles where they took 2 Barons, they took an Elder Dragon, and they prolonged it and tried to give themselves more opportunities. So, I mean, there were, so I don't want to write off TSM or like write off that game. It just felt like they had, once the Jax like gets level 18, like what are you gonna do? Like and they didn't really
Just
have
hold
the
your
tools
hands
to
up
make
and
plays.
shrug.
Yeah, exactly. So
See what happens. We also did have, FlyQuest Academy showing up in big fashion against Cloud9 Academy. Again, Cloud9 needing to find a way to bounce back. Magical.
I mean, that series, FlyQuest just proved why they stuck together, really. It was just dominant performance out of them. And there are some things you could see. There's small glimmers of light from Cloud9 Academy. Despite the fact that having 3 subs, you can tell that she and Copy were starting to work better together in some aspect, but the problem was it was nowhere near enough to be able to usurp any advantages away from FlyQuest.
Yeah, it was pretty strong. FlyQuest coming out very strong. Dignitas coming out very strong. But I do want to look forward because we have one more day in our first official Academy kickoff week in summer 2022, and we have some bangers coming up tomorrow too. Don't you worry, Academy's got your back with those. As we got Golden Guardians taking on Evil Geniuses. We got Dignitas Academy taking on 100 Thieves Academy. That one was a little bit foreshadowed too there. And then we have TSM Academy and FlyQuest Academy taking on each other as Immortals Academy. Then taking on Cloud9 Academy. Rounding it out with C Academy taking on TLA. And that one is actually going to be really fun as we had very interesting storylines for both those teams coming out of spring.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, though, like just looking at all the games, I'm waiting to see FlyQuest versus TLA.
Same.
That was a series that actually went the distance, or was close to going the distance in Proving Grounds. FlyQuest got 2-0'd, but like they were scaling back into the games, like they were like winning fights. CO just shut the door on them too fast. And I think that likewise, what we've seen from them early, I've been very, very impressed by. I really want to see FlyQuest versus Team Liquid, and I want to see if, you know, FlyQuest can maybe learn things and topple the top dogs that we still have in Academy, because someone's got to take that crown away from them before we give it to anyone else.
Exactly that. Well, to wrap out the day, do you guys have any final thoughts? Want to give you the table one more time, Cubby, to say any final thoughts on day number 2 of the Path to LCS stream?
Pretty cool. All affiliated streams are streaming Developmental League of Legends. So I know we're about to wrap up, but
With
go
some
support
awesome viewership, by
twitch.tv/academy.
the way.
Yeah,
Yes.
go support twitch.tv/LCS. I know when I leave here, I am showing my badge. I'm walking in. I'm going to go be a fan for the collegiate game. So encourage everyone here to go check out some other Developmental League.
Exactly that. Magical, you got any last words for today, day 2?
I definitely got to keep my eyes on FlyQuest. I feel like FlyQuest, even though it's a team that's stuck together, it also feels like they've leveled up their performance just in this short spurt.
I like it. Well, thank you all for tuning in for the day on the Path to LCS stream. Thank you to Esports Engine for putting on such a wonderful show. Even through all the technical difficulties, we would not be here without them. And the players for playing the game that we all love. Now, if you didn't know already, Cubby already talked about it. There is more League of Legends going on. Go to the TV/Academy channel as Immortals Academy on 100 Thieves Academy right this second. We'll see you on Rift.